scoreboard tells you who won. We tell you what happens beyond it. This is Beyond the Sideline. Hello and welcome to the first edition of Beyond the Sideline. I'm your host, Tanner Yardley, and today we have a few guests. Brand new coach, Matt Hennessy, welcome. Tyler Hughes, offensive line and assistant head coach. And Wyatt Mathis, thank you for joining us. You'll be playing the halfback position, right? All right. Guys, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to meet with us. It'll be a good time. Coach Hennessy, first off, welcome to Bartlesville.
Thanks.
You're coming over from Pawhuska, where you had a lot of success. What has that transition been like for you, going from Pawhuska and building something new?
It's been really smooth, actually. I mean, there's a lot to do here, but it was hard to leave Pawhuska. I really liked it. I really wasn't looking to leave. But then the opportunity came up, and I've always known this job could be a good job, thought it could be a good job, but when Mr. Delbeck called and we got to talking, and just turned out it was the right fit at the right time. And then the administration has been absolutely amazing. When I got here, Mr. Harp was a principal, and LaDonna, Miss Chancellor, was moving into the superintendent's role, and Mr. McCauley was still the superintendent, but they all just said, hey, let's do whatever we got to do to win. Let's do whatever we got to do to get this program fixed. Hire who you need to hire, do what you got to do. So that was the first order of action. Luckily they let me come in early. I got hired towards the end of December, basically the Monday after we got done playing on a Friday night. But we were here on Tuesday. Coach Hughes and I came on Tuesday and never left. So just started working immediately. Went to work immediately on hiring staff. As a head coach, and I've been doing this is year number 34 for me. So I've been doing this for quite a while. As a head coach, you always keep a list in your drawer of guys you want, in case your guys leave, in case you got to make a change, whatever. And so I had a list, and it was amazing how many of those guys I was able to get. The first guy obviously was Coach Hughes, my right-hand man. He has been for a while. He handles all my strength conditioning stuff. I played at Kansas State under Bill Snyder, and Coach Snyder always said you hire your O-line coach first. So, ask Coach Hughes. Actually, I told Coach Hughes, if you don't come with me, I'm not taking the job. So he said, I'll go, let's go. And so we got over here, and then I was able to hire Mason Fine next, who played for me at Locust Grove. He holds every passing record in Oklahoma. I apologize for my voice today. I've been
You're good.
a little rough practice this morning. But he was actually coaching at Muskogee. He, after he got done playing for me in high school, he went and played at North Texas, set all their records, went and played in the Canadian League, and it was just starting to get into coaching. And then the next obvious hire, if I'm going to hire Mason, I got to hire Jason. So Jason Pirtle was his top receiver in high school. Jason holds all the career receiving yards records in Oklahoma. He had gone to North Texas also and played there, and then got to coach at IMG. So he got a really good experience of coaching one of the premier, national high schools. And then it came back to Muskogee, so I stole both them from Muskogee. And then from there, I interviewed the staff that was on staff. I kept Coach Daniels, made him the defense coordinator. Kept Coach Crane, made him D-line coach. Coach Holmes and Coach Thurman were on staff. So I talked to them about heading up my junior high program. So we wanted to split it up. Last year they did it a little different, but I knew how important that was going to be. If we're going to build this right, we got to build it from the bottom up. So Coach Holmes was doing 8th grade and Coach Thurman was doing 7th grade. And then Coach Winfrey was here on staff too. And so I got to keep him on. And first it was just going to be as a head 9th grade coach, but he's such a good coach. Now he's moved more into tight ends job and everything else. And then honestly, I really went to work on the defensive staff. Noah Wilson played for me at Pawhuska. He came over as linebacker coach. And then Coach Stryker was actually, I didn't hire Coach Strike next. Coach Kedeku was on staff, and I kept him. He played cornerback at Oklahoma State. And then Coach McKinley Whitfield, he was the head coach at Porter. He played at Tulsa. He was an All-American at Spiro. Just an unbelievable player and coach. Convinced him to come, and then I got the call about Coach Stryker. And I knew who Coach Stryker was just because his playing. He was an All-American at OU. Played in the NFL, played in the Canadian League, but a lot of times I don't hire guys like that. It's amazing the number of coaches I've got that were such great players. Because a lot of times those great players, they don't relate to high school kids that maybe don't have the talent or aren't able to do it. They can't coach the kids that aren't quite as good. but Striker is amazing. So all our coaches, the main thing was, do you love kids? Are you doing it for the right reason? Our number one goal in this program is to turn boys into great men. We figure if we keep that in mind, keep that our focus, at some point we'll start winning games too. It will translate into the scoreboard. But right now it's just that. So you're coming in, getting that, the booster club set, the finding the sponsors. But here's the thing, Tanner, this town has all the pieces. In order to have a great program, you got to have great coaches. They let us build that. You got to have great players. Our kids are working extremely hard. You got to have an administration that's willing to back you and support you. Without a doubt, the best one I've been around 34 years. You got to have parents that are willing to do it all the right ways, and we're getting all that coached up. And then you got to have a great community. And there's not a better community in Oklahoma to live in than Bartlesville. I mean, we've got it all. We got it's a big town with a small town feel. You don't have a lot of the problems some of the big cities have, but you got all the advantages that the big towns have. So, I think all the pieces are here. It's just going to take time for everybody to get on board, everybody come together and figure it all out.
Yeah, that's good. I saw that you mentioned the Bill Snyder days. What have you taken from his coaching style and just really all your coaching stops along the way to help you build you into the coach you are today?
And I think that's super important. What I see today is young coaches that want to jump, that immediately want to be a coordinator. They want to be a head coach. They don't want to go through the steps, and they don't ever get to go coach for somebody that can teach them how to do it right. I was blessed. Ron Lancaster was my high school coach. He's in the Hall of Fame. And then that was my first coach. He hired me at Jenks when I had my first job. And then we coached together at Muskogee. So Coach Lancaster is one of my mentors that taught me a ton. And then obviously Coach Snyder. When he came into Kansas State, we were terrible. Worst football program in the history of football. And he immediately went to work and showed me how to turn around programs, how to build programs. And the crazy thing is I don't know that I learned a ton of X's and O's from Coach Snyder. I learned how to build relationships. I learned how to deal with people, how to deal with players. And the way he handled all that was what Coach Snyder taught me. And there's nobody better. I mean, he was the architect of the greatest turnaround in college football. They want to talk about Coach Signetti. Coach Signetti's a great coach. He's had a great turnaround. Some of these guys that have had turns, Coach Snyder didn't have NIL. He didn't have transfer portal. He couldn't just go bring in a whole new set of guys. He had to deal with us. And so I think his turnaround was bigger than anybody's. But that's what he's taught me, and I think that's super important to have good mentors. And honestly, I think that's where I'm at in my career now. I got a lot of young guys on my staff. I think my job, as much as it is to coach the players, my job is to coach coaches and develop the coaches for that next generation.
Yeah, that's good. It's completely different in the college landscape and the high school landscape nowadays. Before in college, you had to recruit out of high school, and those are the guys you have. In high school, you bring them up from middle school, those are the guys you have. But now you can buy players. And so that's really good that you're able to learn from a great coach like that. Yeah, for sure. What's the next question? And obviously, taking over a program means new players, new coaches, and new expectations. What were some of the biggest things you had to establish with this team whenever you took over, and what were real struggles you had to face?
I think the first thing we realized is the lack of accountability. Coaches weren't held accountable, players weren't held accountable. One thing in our program is you are going to be held accountable. I'm going to be held accountable. These guys are going to hold me accountable. I'm going to hold them accountable. We make a deal to each other. It's not personal. It's because we love each other that we're going to hold each other accountable. We say all the time, the standard's the standard. We have a standard that we set, and it doesn't matter who you are or what day it is or if you're tired or you don't feel good. It doesn't matter. The standard's the standard, and we're not going to budge on that. And there's certain things we have in our program that are non-negotiables that we're not going to deal with. And other than that, there's just our standards that we do. The word culture gets thrown around a lot. And at first I didn't really like it because, man, come on, it's just a cliche word that everybody's using. But I went to a coach's clinic about eight or 9 years ago, and a coach was there talking, and he said, culture, and this is when it kind of hit home to me, culture is what you do every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's your culture. It's not some poster you put up in your office. It's not some new drill you put in. That's not your culture. Your culture is what you stand for and what you demand all the time. So our culture is team. That's our team motto is team. One, the obvious, we want to play together. We want to be a team. But for us, it stands for tempo, effort, attitude, and mental toughness. tempo meaning we want to do everything with a sense of urgency. Yes, we are a tempo offense. We're not going to huddle. We're going to go fast. We're going to do all those things because we think we can at least control our shape if we can't control anything else. But the sense of urgency we think is super important, whether it's, hey, you got a homework assignment, get your homework assignment done. Your mom asked you to do the dishes, get up and do the dishes. You went to work, your boss told you to do something, do it right now. Have a sense of urgency with everything you do. Don't be a procrastinator, don't put things off. Next is effort. There's no reason why you can't give great effort every day with everything you do. Next is attitude. We're going to do everything with a positive attitude. We're not all about negativity. Things are going to go wrong at times, but we're going to keep a positive attitude. And then the mental toughness piece is basically being able to go 1-0. When one thing goes bad, that's fine. Deal with it. Don't let it turn into 2 or 3 things. And that's one of the things we saw really bad on film. Our teams weren't just totally outmatched and blown away. It's once one thing went wrong, it would just spiral, and the game would get out of control. So we've worked really hard in the offseason on those things. The great thing about all those things I mentioned, none of them take any talent. Doesn't matter if you're the biggest dude on the team, littlest dude, fastest, slowest, great player, never get off the bench. You can have a sense of urgency. You can have great effort. You can have a good attitude when you come to work, and you can be mentally tough. You can do all those things. So everybody is expected to do those things all the time. And we're slowly but surely getting better at all that.
Yeah, that's what builds great men, and also that's exactly what college coaches are looking for. So it's great that you're putting it into them in high school, even if they're seniors. I mean, they could apply that to their lives.
Yep.
Coach Hughes, offensive line, it all starts there. I mean, if the quarterback doesn't have enough time to pass the ball, I mean, the play's busted. If the running back can't run, the play's busted. You can't move at all. So how important was it in the offseason for your guys to get stronger, better? And last year there were some struggles on the offensive line. And how were you able to tweak those things?
It was crucial. It's the offseason part. These guys, they came in, they weren't super strong. We knew what we got to build off of. But they worked their tails off. They were very consistent, showing up every day. And their maxes went up a lot, and their speed got better. As far as the technique of pass pros, all that goes, just working with them every single day. Trying to instill violence in them. Because I have the nicest group of 5 offensive linemen that I think I've ever been around in my career. And that's a good thing out in public, but it's kind of a bad thing for my business. So trying to teach them how when you put a helmet on, like it's time to go be a violent man. And then when you take it off, go be good.
Yeah.
All right, go be good men. So we're still juggling that around, but they're coming along, they're getting better every day, and they're fun groups to work with.
Yeah, that's great. So how important is it for the offensive line to establish itself early? You have Sky took this Friday, and preparing for it, it's the first game of a new era. How important is that offensive line to set the tone early?
That's super important. I think it's the most important part for the offense, and if they do it early, they set the tone, and they'll let the defense know, hey, these guys are for real. So I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So you're also an assistant head coach. How is it juggling coaching one position group and also having a big role like an assistant head coach?
Assistant head coach to me is like when I'm in the office, we got 2 separate offices. So when I'm in the offices with the other assistants, just making sure they're on track with what he wants, because I've been with him so long that I know exactly how he wants things done. So I try to just help those other guys know what to expect. Like last Thursday, a couple Thursdays ago was our first perfect practice, and I know how he is on perfect practice. You better be on your toes. So I kind of had those guys nervous but ready as well. So just trying to help them along this process that's new to them as well. So.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Wyatt, you had a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the scrimmage. What was it like getting out there and finally seeing all the work you guys have put in the off season and all the stress that you've been thinking about for this Friday?
I think it's really nice. It's a new change of speed for us. We go out there on the first play, they fumble, we get the ball back, go down, drive from the field, score in 2 plays. I think that was a big start of the game right there. Changed the momentum in our favor. I think it just put the foot down on them already early. We just kept pushing on them the rest of the game. And all the work we've put in for these past few months, waking up at 3:30 in the morning, get to 5 a.m. practices. I think it really should how ready we are for this year.
Yeah, and I saw a complete shift from last year. Like, maybe last year you had like first drive 3 and out. Oh man, like, and then second drive you had like maybe a field goal or something, but you guys came out and attacked, and that's what I loved about seeing you guys out there. I wasn't able to make it to the scrimmage, but I watched it on KWN whenever they live streamed it. And I was amazed by you guys. So props to you and props to you coaches. I mean, that was amazing.
Another thing about Wyatt too is we named him first captain. So he's captain. We started naming some other captains. We've named 4 now. I think I've got in my mind I'm gonna have 6 for this week. That's a big deal to me. To get that C on your chest, I'm the only one that chooses them. I don't let anybody else. I take the input of my coaches. Leadership council, we all kind of threw in on that and kind of picked our leadership council. But captain to me is a big deal to have that senior chest. And he was the first one picked for a reason. I mean, his work ethic, he's not a big vocal guy. He leads by example. You know, he lives in Uliga. So we practice at 5:30 in the morning. So actually the first walkthroughs are in the field at 4:45. And then they're meeting with me at 5:15. Then we're back on for a run through it at 5:20, and practice starts at 5:30. So when we say we got 5:30 practice, that really means about 4:45. And so he's got to get here. What time do you say you get up? What?
3:30.
It's up at 3:30 every day, and you never hear anything. He's not late. He brings his little brother with him because he's got to go to junior high practice. So that's the kind of leadership with guys like that. We're going to be able to turn the program around. I mean, I hate that he's a senior. I wish he was about a sophomore, so I'd have him for 4 or 5 more years because we didn't know that he could be a running back. We had him slot at linebacker, backup tight end. We had some things happen at running back, lost a couple kids, and Wyatt's pretty fast. He's strong, and tried back there, and he does a great job at running back. So him and Davin Carter same way. Davin Carter, we had no clue he could play running back. He's defensive end. Got him back there. But what this is 2 seniors stepping up that they've been through the turmoil, they've been through the down times, and they're ready to switch it. So they're willing to do whatever it takes. This guy, if I told him he had to go play guard, I promise he'd say, all right, change my number, put me a guard. I just want to win.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of guys right there you can win with.
Yeah. And you mentioned you have a little brother and stuff. Yeah. What is it like being an example for him, not only for your little brother, but also the grades growing up to start high school next year and next few years to come?
I think I've been trying to teach him work ethic a lot because he's just from a small school. You know, he's a bigger kid. He's fast. So he just kind of automatically starts. I've been trying to teach him, you know, he's got to work for stuff.
Yeah.
Work extra, work outside of practice, try and get him work with me at home.
Yeah.
Get better every day.
And that's great to have someone that close to you being able to teach them and love on them like that. That's great.
Yeah, little brother is a stud too. We're ready for him to get to high school too.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm a senior, so I won't be able to see that, but that's great. So I think everyone around Bartlesville that watched that game can feel the excitement from, that first drive. That was amazing. You had that tip pass that Luss scored for the not touchdown, but he caught it. Yeah. That was amazing. For people who saw that game and stuff, what can they be excited about this Friday?
You know, I think the biggest thing is we want to put a product on the field that everybody can be proud of. Mm-hmm. I got here, I got the feeling that, people, football team, it wasn't, and a lot of it was because it wasn't the wins and losses. Bartlesville's really good about supporting you, even if you may not win on the scoreboard. It was the personal fouls. It was the unsportsmanlike conducts. It was all this stuff, the lack of discipline. So they're going to see a disciplined team on the field. That stuff's not going to happen. They're going to see a team that gives great effort. We're going to play as hard as we can. And they're going to see a team that loves each other. They're going to see a team that we're going to celebrate together. We get fired up. All our coaches get fired. I don't know if you saw on the sideline shot of Coach Hughes stomping when we scored a touchdown. But our coaches, we got a lot of energy on the sidelines. That was one of the comments I had from a lot of the fans that were there is the energy was just a different level. Mm-hmm. And so I think, but part of that too is we were winning. It's first game, everybody's excited. We came out, big things happened early. I'm anxious to see what happens when we get behind. What happens when we turn the ball over or something bad happens? Do we crumble or do we just let it go and turn it and make a great play the next play? Mm-hmm. Our defense kind of showed that a little bit of resiliency. They had a little bit of drives on us, but we found a way to stop them. We only gave up a field goal. Last year, I believe the score was 20-0, Bishop Kelly. and this year is 22 to 3 us in a half. So to score 22 points, Michael had over 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Play a whole game, that converts into 400 and some yards passing. Lusk had like 130 yards receiving on 5 or 6 catches. So, I think if we can just keep that energy level and keep the things going, we do want to, one of our things is start fast and finish strong. So we do want to start fast, but we're going to have some things along the road that don't. But again, I think to answer your question, I think biggest thing is put a product out there that people are proud of. They want to stay till the end of the game. They want to support the program. They're glad when they see a Bruin football player roll into their store. Oh, that's a Bruin football player, awesome. And they're excited about it. Not, oh, here comes one of those guys. And I talked about that. I spoke at the Sports Spectacular Saturday night, and that was one of the things I talked about is we want to be the program that everybody's proud. Hey, our goal is to turn Bartlesville into a football town. I mean, right now it's a country club sport town, has been forever. There's only been 7 winning seasons in the history of the school here in football. So our goal is to switch the way everybody looks at it and turn it into a football town. And I think the community is ready for that.
I know I am. I'm ready to see some good football and commentate some good games, because I feel like that's what's been missing from this town. And I'm super glad that our administration hired you guys, because you guys seem like you're right for the job. So yeah, the defense made some big plays. You had that fumble recovery. How important is it for this team to create those turnovers and give the offense extra opportunities?
It's huge. So we're a really aggressive football team. When I talked about our absolutes earlier, offensively we're not going to huddle. Okay, that's our absolute there. We're gonna have tempo. We think we can outshape you if nothing else, and get you tired eventually. But there's a lot of other reasons we do it. But that's one of them. Defensively, we're going to be super aggressive. We're going to start blitzing the second we get off the bus. And Coach Daniels has the same philosophy I do. I've always been a defensive guy. I played linebacker in college, and then I was defense coordinator at Jenks, and then I've just moved on. And I always ran the defense everywhere I've been. And my first year at Pulaski, I did, and then the second year I switched over to offense. So I've been calling offense the last 7 years. Once I hired Mason and had Tyler here, he knows what I like on offense. I was like, I'm just going to let you guys do your thing. And so I shifted back to defense, and Coach Daniels and I are doing the defense. Coach Daniels have the same philosophy. We're not a bend and break defense, or bend but don't break defense. We're going to get after you. We may give up one every now and then, but we're going to get after you. But we are going to pursue to the football. And we're going to run to the football. When you watch it, what we want to see, what we want you to be commentating on up there, wow, there's 11 blue helmets on the football every time. Every time I look up, everybody's swarming to the ball. Everybody's running to the football. Because you saw it the other night. They broke some plays. They had some plays they ran, but our pursuit tackled them. We got them stopped, held them to 1 field goal. One time they didn't get in. They got down there and didn't get in. Another time they kicked a field goal. But still, if we can hold field goals, you're not going to beat us with field goals, because we're going to score some points. So we're going to be super aggressive defensively. We're going to create turnovers. We're going to create big plays. We're going to give up a few big plays. But the way you have to look at it if you run this defense is, I'm not going to let that big play get me down. I'm going to come back and create 2 big plays. And so at the end of the day, I have more big plays than I gave up.
Yeah, that's good. So now looking ahead, you got that first game against Skytook. People have been talking about it all week. What have you seen from them that makes them a challenge for you guys?
They're a good football team. I've known Coach Pearson since he was at Union and I was at Jenks. So we're both old guys that have been doing this a long time, coaching against each other. He's going to do things right. His staff does a great job of coaching. His players are really good. Their O-line may be one of the best O-lines we see all year. They got a D1 left tackle, and they got a bunch of big guys up front. So, and we're really small up front defensively, but we're real fast. So it's going to be kind of the river versus the rock deal there. But they're going to play sound defense. They're going to be really physical in the run game. Their effort is going to be what will separate them as they go. They're going to be similar to us in that aspect, because they're going to be well coached. They're going to give great effort. They're going to do things right. But I think I'm hoping our kicking game will make a difference too. Jason Pirtle is our special teams coordinator, and he takes a lot of pride in. Been working hard, and we got a great kicker. I mean, Macy Alamon's our kicker. I've never had a girl kicker before. I've never had a girl player before, but she's not a girl kicker. She's just our kicker, and nobody works harder in the weight room than her. Nobody. She tells me she plays soccer just to stay in shape for football, and she's gotten her legs stronger. She was crushed that she missed the field goal the other day, but I could care less. We're going right back to her if we get in field goal range. I don't. We're talking about the absolutes. On special teams, I'm going to be aggressive too. I don't kick extra points. We'll always go for 2, unless the referee lets me go for 3, and he hadn't let me yet. So we'll always go for 2. You'll see a lot of going for it on 4th down. You see onside kicks. You talked about possessions for the offense. We're going to try to create as many of those through our special teams as well. Create extra possessions for our offense, because at the end of the day, that's what wins you a game. It's hard to win the game if you don't have the ball in your hands. So we're going to push to get them off the field. We're on defense, and our offense may score fast too. So a lot of times we're right back out there. So we got to make sure we're getting points out of it.
Yeah. For that, that was a really good answer. But for Wyatt, what has been the biggest difference mentally between a scrimmage and walking out onto the field on Friday night? Scrimmages, in the grand scheme of things, they don't put win in your win column whenever you look at it. But what can you bring from that game and into this first week?
I think our O-line played really well. I think they need to build off what they did in the scrimmage this week, because that was a really issue last year. And I think we just need to be able to build drives, stack drives on top of each other, and continue scoring. Because like you said last year, we were just 3 and out, keep the defense off the field, try and hold possession time. I think our defense also played really, really well. Kept them 3 points through the whole game. And I think everybody had juice. Everybody was excited to play. It was our first time showing off the work we had put in, everything we had through it. I think that's going to be intensified when we start this first game, just from the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah.
I think everybody's excited and everybody's ready.
You talk about that atmosphere. It's funny that it'll be equalized a little bit this week, because most teams do go into scrimmages, and it's just scrimmage. Doesn't matter to me. We talked before. Everything we do this year matters. Every play we play matters. Every practice we practice matters. The scrimmage mattered. No, we didn't. It's not going in our records. We're still 0-0. We're still undefeated, by the way. But no, we're still 0-0. But it did matter. It mattered that we came out and we executed. Man, we came out and did things right. Our coaches dressed right. Our players were dressed right. I mean, there's a lot of little things that are big things to me, and that I think that will be seen. I've had lots of comments on that, on how our coaches looked on the sidelines, how all the players were dressed the same. I mean, it's how our ball boys were dressed the same. All those little things that that do end up important. But this week, whereas Bishop Kelly might have been scrimmage, who cares? We probably didn't get their best game. They might have got ours. So we're going to get Sky Tukes this week. That's the one thing for sure. We're going to get their best game, because there is a lot of animosity between the two communities. So it's close enough that it's, even though they're 4A, we're 6A, there's a lot of rivalry there, a lot of competitiveness there, that I think will make this game a really good game.
Yeah, I'm excited. So one final question. This will be your first regular season game leading the Bruins. What does that moment mean to you personally?
And I've learned to. I got this actually from Coach Stoops. Told me to start. This was probably 15 years ago, but he said, "Hey, when you walk out and you're in the top, stand there, captains are out there, just take a minute. Take a minute to look around. Forget about your play call sheet for a second. Just look around, look at the crowd, try to find your wife in the stands, try to see who's there. Just take a minute and take it all in." So you only get one first. And so this will be the first one. We'll do it. We'll take it all in, and then we'll get to work. I think we've got so much work to do. I keep warning our kids and talking to our coach about, I hope we don't think we're good all of a sudden because we beat Bishop Kelly 22-3 in a half game. That doesn't make us good. Like I said, if we probably didn't even get their game, they were probably just like, oh, it's scrimmage, whatever. But we've got to keep working. I am proud of our kids for the way they have shown up, that they've accepted the showing up at 5:30 every morning. They understand we don't be late. They understand we, in the off season we lifted at 6:30 every morning, so it's not that much earlier from the day I've got here. And you would think a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, he's so hard. He's tough to play for, and this and that." I bet but the number's gone down. Last year they ended the season with 36 players, and when Mr. Dilbeck hired me, that's the first thing he said. You got to get the numbers up. We're at 82 players right now.
Wow.
I'm not quite a few of those are freshmen, but eventually we would like to get to that number with no freshmen. Let the freshmen just be their own team. But because these kids have been hungry, kids do want discipline, kids do want structure. You'll never convince me otherwise. And so, that structure. But then at the same time, as hard as we are on them, we love them just as hard. We're gonna come behind. We're gonna give them a hug. I tell them I love them every day. The first time you get a big bald-headed dude telling you love him, it might be kind of weird, but now it's like, I love you too, Coach, love you too, So the relationships are there. The coaching staff gets it. The players get it. The community's been awesome. So it's going to be fun Friday night. Hopefully next Tuesday we're sitting here celebrating a win, talking about number 2.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to come over to Custer Stadium to watch these guys play and play their hearts out. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.